Well, howdy, howdy. As promised, if you're friends with me on Facebook, then this is what I promised you, that I would make a through the houses, what the full moon in Cancer means. So we're talking full moon in Cancer. If you follow me here, you are absolutely into astrology. You know your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, you can look it up on astro.com, make a free account. It'll follow the clicks, follow the links, it'll make one for you, and then you can figure out your rising sign. I have a video on here somewhere in the million videos that I've made, so you can check it out here. I made a little background, but I had actually posted on Instagram. Mars in Cancer, why don't you cry about it? And I put a boombox because Mars in Cancer especially likes punk music. They tend to like rough music, right? They will forgive like a bad voice for good music, in my opinion, which is totally not at all slanted. But, fun fact, everybody is slanted because your chart makes you slanted. That's what's up. Astrology actually gives you a way to be objective about things. So if you're here, what you're going to see right now is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go through the houses and I'm going to talk about what this full moon means for you. The full moon takes place on January 13th, and she is meeting up with Mars, who is in her house. Now, Mars doesn't like being Cancer. It feels frustrated because it wants to stay connected. And when you want to stay connected, then you can't win, right? Because now everyone, your whole family has to come with you. So you make decisions based upon your whole family, right? So it's hard to get and do what you want. So if you have a Mars in Cancer, this one is particular. Especially if you have a moon in Cancer and it's like after 20 degrees. So if you have a moon or Mars in Cancer and it's like letter degrees, this will really fuck you up. And it's supposed to. Mars is pushing you because the whole universe, right? The Most High is pushing you to be your best. So really think about what you're feeling dissatisfaction about and don't throw it away. Really think about what is trying to break through. What is my soul yearning for? What do my ancestors want? Kind of a thing. They're all championing you, right? They're championing you on. You're their champion, which makes you feel even more pressure because you don't want to let them down. Well, you were made for this. You can't let them down. Now, let's share my screen, and then I will talk about the transits here. So this is the time. It's not the time right now. It's 11:22 Friday for me, but I have it going hours ahead. So I'll be clicking on this and it will shift through the signs, right? Then right now it's on the AC here, that's ascendant. AC rising is Aries, right? And then we're going to do Taurus rising, and then we're going to do Gemini rising. Do you see the flow? Good. Now you're up to speed. So if you are an Aries rising, like myself, then I really know what's going on for you. You have someone in your home that is moody, or you are having to do a lot of home projects because shit is breaking in your house, right? Something about the structure of your house might be going through it right now. And you're like, oh, I've got to deal with the plumbing, or I've got to deal with somebody in my house, or things breaking down in my home, right? Like that's a thing that's popping for you. Also, you're doing sort of a reinvention. Mars is like, oh, hey, where are you feeling dissatisfied? And I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling dissatisfied in how I am not showing myself to people. I need to show myself to more people, to my home, my family, my friends. I show everyone on my business, right? My team Aquarius, stuff like that, right? I show everyone there, but I don't show me to everyone who I'm close to. And so Mars is like, oh, hey, why don't you do that? How about you let them sever ties with you if they want to sever ties with you? I don't have to sever ties. They can sever ties, you know? So that's what's going on for you if you have an Aries rising. And this is really affecting you, your physical image personally too. Some of you might be having more bad hair days, unless you have Pisces placements where Venus is, and then she's going to give you a better hair day. But maybe you're like dissatisfied with your appearance, right? That could be a thing, Aries risings. You're like, oh man, I need to work out more, right? Mars has to do with motivation. Jupiter has more to do with the health, but Mars has more to do with the motivation, how you're going to gain that health through physical exercise. If you're an Aries rising, you need to sweat every day. That needs to be a part of your regimen every day. If you're not, it makes you moodier. So you need physical exercise, walk something every day. Take that to your bank. That's what you need. You also might be taking more initiative on financial matters, right? Because Cancer has to do with the flow of money, the flow of resources, the flow of capital. Money is water. It's meant to be seen as water. It comes and it goes, right? It flows. You want to be a part of that flow. So you may be really learning about how money flows for you and aligning yourself so that it'll flow better. That's what's popping. So let's go ahead into the future. Kind of, sort of, but really I'm looking for Taurus rising here. So Taurus, your body has been shifting and changing a lot because Uranus has been going through your first house. You may have been exercising more, which good for you, right? Or experimenting with electrocution or something. Uranus is about technology. So maybe even learning how to use technology for yourself, for your beauty, for your pleasure. Hopefully for your pleasure. Taurus rising is Venus ruled. You're having a pretty good time right now because Venus, who's exalted and who rules your body, is like, oh, hey, we unexpectedly look like fire. Good. Okay, but this full moon is happening in your third house of online communication and short distance travel. Your car might be having issues. Or like you might be having financial issues on paying off your car, right? Mars brings issues. So Mars is saying, hey, what do you need to do to beef up your online presence? You're dissatisfied with what you've been reaping there, the fullness there. What do you need to do about it? What could you do about it? Siblings, this is the house of siblings. So how could your relationship with your siblings be better? With your relatives be better, your cousins be better, right? It's siblings, it's local community. So you might also be having trouble with neighbors. That's another thing, right? Oh my God, why is that every time I move, I have crappy neighbors or something, right? Like that's kind of a Taurus rising thing too. In that third house, because it has to do with your like neighborhood. So siblings, neighborhood, what are you dissatisfied with there? And Mars is saying, hey, you may need to speak up about this, right? You may need to crack a couple eggs, right? But nothing's going to change if you don't look at it, right? Something you can do, and this is a practice that I've been doing, is if you died today, right? And you think about the way that your community has gone, the neighbors have gone. You die today. What do you wish your neighbors would say about you? Or what do you wish you would have changed about your neighborhood? What do you wish you would have changed about your home life in your neighborhood, right? What projects do you wish you would have done more, you know? Or taken more action on? What do you wish you would have taken more action on to make a more fuller life? So that's what is popping for you, Taurus rising. I'm trying to go through these kind of things because I'm an Aries rising and I do fast. All right, now we're going to Gemini rising. You're interesting right now. You've got the moon here up in your house, up in yourself, up in your body, right? So Jupiter. Jupiter, more body. You might be changing your clothes a bunch. Are you changing your clothes a bunch? Is your mom trying to make you feel optimistic today? Because Jupiter is optimism, is expansive thinking, like, oh, it could be better, right? It's all that. And the moon is mom. So maybe your mom's trying to make you feel better, but maybe you're frustrated with her because Mars in Cancer. So Mars in Cancer is in your second house of ethics. of what you value, of how you feed yourself, how you make money, and yeah, right, how you make money, right? What do you have at your disposal? What can you use at your disposal to feed yourself, right? To get resources, to use resources. Mars going through here is like, hey, do you need to sever ties with something to have better resources to feed yourself better? Do you need better health, right? Better health in your eating and stuff like that, right? Because Jupiter going through here is about health, and Mars is about taking physical action. Do you need a better workout routine? Do you need to work out with somebody, right? Gemini is the twins, and I find that Gemini risings like to be with like other people when they're working out or going to a class. Something that has variety though, because Gemini gets bored. You know you do. That's what's up with you. So how are you dissatisfied with your income or how you've been using your resources or your money, right? How are you dissatisfied with the way that you make money or the way that you will make money, right? How are you feeling dissatisfied? When you reflect on your lineage, right? How did your mom make money, right? How were you raised? Things like that, right? Think about what you liked about it and what you didn't like about it, right? And Mars is here to be like, all, hey, I'm motivating you to really look at it, really look at the dissatisfaction, really look at it, and to look at it with the eye of what seeds can I plant now? So Mars is immediate. Mars wants to see immediate action happening now. I want to see that snap, right? And so Mars can be super impatient here. Maybe super impatient with relatives right now too. But yeah, what do you want to do differently? What do you need to sever ties with in order to feed yourself better, to have a better future? That's a part of what is happening right now for you, Gemini risings. But yeah, what talents do you have that you're not using? Right? That's another thing. What talents do you have that you're not using? It wants to use up everything it has at its disposal. All right, next, Cancer rising. Here we come. Here we come for you. So your body and soul are getting a kind of, hey, right? Look at this. So you may be feeling frustrated physically with the way that you are momming or have mommed, right? You may be frustrated with the way that you nurture or feeling like you're not nurturing enough or good enough, right? You may feel like you're not a good authority figure, a good nurturing figure for others. You may feel like I'm not nurtured enough. So cancers get really moody. They have a hard time when they feel like they're giving out all this care and it's not coming back to them. There's a real issue there. So you may feel a little bit miffed that you initiate things, but that other people don't initiate things back. You don't get the same care back. That could be frustrating. Yeah, Mars in the body. This could also be like, on its like worst. It could also be like troubles in pregnancy or getting pregnant, things like that. Because it's about momming, right? Nurturing. It's about using resources and things like that. So you might be, are you hitting yourself more? Mars? Okay, Mars is reflective, right? Mars is looking back on your body and all the times that you have cut yourself, right? All the time, because Mars is a knife, all the ways in which you have been hard on yourself, right? Mars is, come on, let's go, soldier, right? Like it's it's the inspirer, it is the inspirer. That is what's happening. And so Mars could be like ways in which you struggle as a mother, or you struggle with your mother, your ability to nurture. You might be struggling with feeling at home or at peace in your sort of soul right now, in your body right now. Maybe you're experiencing pain in your body right now too. Mars kind of brings the pain because Mars wants us to take action on those things. But how are you dissatisfied? How are you beating yourself up about your body, right? About how your body does things. So Cancer rising. That's what I have for you. And next we're going to Leo rising. Leo's your little party animals. You don't know what the F is going on. Leo rising, you're like, why am I just mad? Leo rising. You like to be seen, right? You want to be seen and you want to be playful, and you are a leader. You're supposed to be a leader. You're a natural leader. You're a leader. So Mars in Cancer is in that 12th house. So this is a foggy house. I'm gonna have to swim in this one because every time I talk about the 12th house, I get lost in swimming because of the topic itself. 12th house is enemies. 12th house is where we feel alone. 12th house is where we're thinking about the end of life, right? So you are reflecting on ways in which you didn't nurture, or you don't want to nurture your enemies anymore. Who are my enemies? Why am I nurturing them? You may be thinking about like incarceration, people who get incarcerated and how effed up that is. But the 12th house represents, and I have to close my eyes because I have to focus. The 12th house represents enemies. It represents the end of life. It represents overseas. It represents sort of being in a land where everyone speaks a language that you don't speak. And you're like, what? You know, it also represents, though, where you have the chance, the opportunity to transcend, to make your heart lighter than a feather. At the end of life, right, old Egyptian times, they would weigh your heart against a feather. And then if your heart was heavier than a feather, then you didn't enter into the afterlife, or you had to go through like all those secrets, passcodes, or you got devoured. You're no longer in existence. So if you got devoured today, right, or not devoured, if you died today, would the way that you have treated your enemies, would the way, if you consider your mom an enemy, right, would you feel good about the way you treated her? Would you feel good about the way that you mothered your children, right? Or the way that you nurtured enemies, right? Frenemies, if you will. So you're dealing with those things. You might be, experiencing tough things around how to spiritually interact on a transcended level, on a most high level, with people who you view, who don't do the things you want them to do, people who you can't like control, right? So you are getting some light around those things. How are you how are you always in this same situation with your enemies, right? How does this keep coming up? Why are you always dissatisfied with enemies? Or why does it feel like every time I'm a leader and I get people in behind me, right? I get people who I'm leading. Why does it turn into, or why did it turn in sour? Why did it turn sour? What did I do? And even if it's not what you did, when you are looking at this, think of this with a helping hand. Think of you're looking at this, you're talking about this with the Most High, right? With your spiritual highest self, with God, with, whatever deity, right? Whenever you think about that, that's what's going to help you transcend, right? Something higher than yourself, because you've got to be able to so there's got to be a mark higher than you in order to hit it, if that makes sense, in order to hit that mark. So how can you nurture, how can you love your enemies better? Or how can you sever ties with enemies, that people who you have cared about, who you are close to, and that maybe you don't need to be close with anymore because maybe they are an enemy? How do you sever ties with that? That's kind of what's going on right now. I'm filing my nail. I don't know. All right, next one. Now we're gonna go to Virgo rising. Ooh, the sign of I've gotta be of service and help. The sign of gotta be of service and health. The sign of health. and cares about it, probably a lot. So Mars is going through your 11th house of friends. Why? And so you're definitely having to sever relationships with friends, for sure. Kind of not unlike the 12th house. That's more about like severing with enemies, right? Like, oh, hey, I always make these enemies. Stop doing that. Stop nurturing them or something like that. Stop partnering with them. Yours is the 11th house of friendships, desires, hopes, and dreams. You are frustrated that your desires are not coming to fruition, right? What you want, what you dream about, what will make this world a better place that you think about, right? You are frustrated with your friends. You are frustrated. And you're reflecting on the friendships that you've always had, right? What is the common denominator? It's me, right? If you have a hard time with your friends, the common denominator is you. It's me, right? So if your hopes and dreams aren't being fulfilled, then what are you putting your focus on when you focus on your desires? If it's of service to other people, which you're prone to do because you're Virgo rising and you want to help people with their health, their mental health, you know, spiritual health, physical health, right? To be healthy, that's what you're going for. So Mars going through that. How come when I try to nurture my friends, I don't get it back? Right? Cancer gets frustrated when it puts in all the time, it puts in all the effort and the nurturing, and it doesn't get it back. So Mars going through here is asking you, maybe you need to sever some ties with some friends who aren't the best for you. You know, taking a look at the patterns of how you make friends, right? Taking a look at you, that focus is really on those desires, those ideals. What do you want? That is a strong focus for you right now. So being devoted to going after what you want. Cancer wants to be connected though. Cancer is like, I only feel motivated by authority figures or people I respect, people I feel close to, mentors, right? Maybe you need to sever ties with a mentor or something like that too. But Mars is here to be like, hey, when you reflect on your life and your friends, there's a pattern here. And I want to clean up that pattern. I want to make it so that the next time go round, you feel motivated by your friends instead of pissed off by them or frustrated with them, right? That's kind of what's going on. So your thing is write out, focus, writing. Virgo has to verbalize. So find a friend, verbalize with AI, verbalize with an app. Talk out loud. Talk out loud to yourself, talk out loud to somebody you trust, a friend, you know, somebody you do like, a mentor possibly, but maybe the one that you're not severing ties with. Talk out loud, write out loud, write out loud. The patterns of your friends, the things that you're dissatisfied in those relationships, and what new seed needs to be planted so that you have more meaningful friendships. That's what I want to see from you. Take an objective view too, right? If you can be cold and detached. So 11th house is Aquarius, naturally, right? It gives an overlay of perspective. So when you are thinking of these things, the more objective you can be, the better. The more you can be not putting your feelings into it, but really thinking about it as if you are your own best friend. You're your own best friend and you are talking to your best friend about the friends they make and what needs to change, maybe something like that, you know, something like that. All right, moving on to Libra rising. Well, Libra rising, these soft little creatures, but who can really push for what they want? Alrighty, Libra rising, talking to you. You're feeling pretty okay every day right now. I mean, you're actually looking kind of at you've got, so Venus is the ruler of Libra, which means you might be feeling pretty, but Saturn's here, you might be feeling old and pretty. Dress in like an older style to make you feel awesome. Experiment with that. Libra rising, you want to be in partnership. Your identity comes when you're in partnership, right? Like, and so this is kind of a rough one. Because who am I if I'm not in partnership? Who even am I? right? Libra, I need to be holding somebody's hand, you know. Libra rising, you don't want to say anything that's not polite. You like beautiful things. You care about your appearance. You know, you kind of love it, you know. You care about music videos. You care about music. You care about um the pretty things. You like pretty people. You like to partner with pretty people. You've got Mars going through your 10th house of career and legacy here. What you want to be known for in your vocation. You are frustrated with authority figures, right? Because the 10th house has to do with authority figures, masculine authority figures, even specifically. But yeah, your work, your job, your career, what you do, what you grind on every day. You're frustrated. You're frustrated with the resources you have. You're frustrated with the home you have, right? And it's, you know, ability to, it gets cluttered, right? That home gets cluttered because you want to see it, but you're creating, right? Venus is creating. So you are reflecting back and you're thinking about your past, however long it's been. You're thinking about your mom and your home, right? And you're thinking about authority figures, father figures, right? And you're kind of wondering if grass was greener on the other side, you know? And what you grind on, right? That's what you're thinking about. So you're throwing fits about those things. So what hasn't been working for you in your home life as it pertains to your overall forward momentum in life and what you grind on? So you might be frustrated with disorganization, with not being able to find things. Why can't I ever find things? You might be frustrated with how your family is, right? It's kind of that family home life there. You might be frustrated with mom, right? Those of you who have maybe mom living in your home or you have to be around mom, you're frustrated. So what to do about it? If you died, what would you wish you would have done differently? What would you wish you would have grinded on differently? How do you wish you would have organized things for easier flow? Right? Organization is a challenge for water houses because it's everywhere. I need to have access to it when I think about it, feel about it. So how can you make that process of creating, of connecting easier? Projects that you've worked on, oh my gosh, this could be really hard for you because you're thinking about your legacy. So when you reflect back on the jobs that you've had, the careers that you've had, what makes you dissatisfied, right? What's the pattern? What are you dissatisfied about with maybe even how your father figures treat you or how you have treated them, right? How can you clean that up, right? How can you work in alignment, right? And so you're trying to find balance right now. Right now is a good time for you to find balance with authority figures. It's actually a really good time for you to do that because there's a trine going on here. It's ruling this. So I'm hoping that what you have going for you is the ability to see sort of best case transcendent, right? To see the love of why the structure is this way, the father is this way, right? So that's kind of nice for you. Realizing how you want to make things beautiful. All right, I'm going to move on because I'm swimming again in it. But yeah, how can your legacy be more beneficial, pleasurable? How can your structure be more beneficial and pleasurable? How can your day-to-day life be more structured while you create, right? Because you're frustrated with how it's not working for you right now. Okay, now we're going to go to Scorpio risings. Hi, Scorpio risings. I love you. All right. Scorpio rising, water sign. Okay, so where is it? It's in the 9th house. Okay, 9th house is fulfillment. 9th house is politics and religion. Ninth house is publishing, it's learning, it's teaching, it's church, because it's religion, right? So it's places we go to elevate, get spiritual, get judged too, kind of in a way. But it's where we find luck, fortune too. So you're frustrated with your fortune and your luck. I'm sorry, that's a bummer. You're frustrated with politics a lot right now. You're like really frustrated with the way politics are going. You're really frustrated with the way laws are going. You're really frustrated with how church is going, right? If you're in a congregation, or if you go to a community that is like a church, that is like a temple, a mosque, right? That is like a place, an institution. You're frustrated with it. You're frustrated with its lack of progress, lack of action, or the actions that it is taking you think maybe are misguided. You might be frustrated with the ways in which other people reflect onto you. So Scorpio is an unmoving dark pool of water. You don't see what's underneath it. So people, when they look at you, they only see a mirror of themselves, their own reflection, right? And so they will reflect onto you their feelings, and they will think that you feel the same way, kind of, which can be frustrating because you're like, no, that's not how I feel. I feel differently, but I can't show you because I don't know how to. I don't have the words to, kind of a thing. So Mars being here, when you reflect on your part in politics, when you reflect on your part in spiritual places, teaching places, when you reflect on yourself as a teacher or other teachers, what are you dissatisfied with, right? What would you like to sever? What would you like to get away from? What would you like to, and no, severing water is a challenge. C'est impossible, right? It's a challenge to sever water. It's real hard. So how do you sever water? You separate yourself. You separate with distance, right? That's one way to separate yourself. You separate through drying things up, right? Allowing what is dried up, let it be dried up, right? Like you're gonna have to let it be dried up, even though you yearned for connection. It's a challenging one for certain. But yeah, books that you've been trying to publish or whatever, right? Like things that you might be really frustrated with. I planted these seeds thinking this was the way to go, and now I'm frustrated. Now, what's really important with water signs is, again, like with Cancer rising, you have to have a higher self, a most high, something that you're connected with, right? A God, a spiritual. You have to have something that's above you so that you have something to aim for. You have to have some philosophical practice that you can aim for, right? So that it helps you to transcend, rise above, right? So you maybe have been frustrated with your connection to that. Oh, right. That's another thing that could be pop in here. So again, think about, and this one might be a really good one for you, a really good practice for you is to think about, you died today. You died today. You go to wherever you're going to go to. I imagine, actually, here's what I really imagine. I was thinking about this last night. Imagine you show up and there's a lady there and she looks like me. Hi, welcome, come on in. Hey, so you died. I'm just like typing and my fingers, everything. So you died, right? And you're like confused. You're like, what? No way I died. No way I died. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's so true. You died. So moving on. Ding. What were you dissatisfied with when it came to your faith? When it came to what made you feel optimistic, right? When it came to laws and religion, what do you wish, capital wish, you would have done to change the way the world works, right? What do you wish you would have done, right? With your dissatisfaction, right? And so if you can imagine those prompts, right? Thinking about those prompts. What do you wish you would have had the courage to do differently? What do you wish you wouldn't have waited on, right? What should you have waited on? So when you're thinking about your frustrations, right? When you think about what you were frustrated with on Earth, we're going to Venus next. Just kidding. How are you dissatisfied? What was the pattern? What do you wish you would have done differently? Question mark. So again, you've got a water trine going on. So we've got Venus helping you out a lot right now. We've got Saturn helping you. So trying to give you a better structure on your spiritual health, right? On your spiritual connection. So what motivates you spiritually? When you reflect on it, you're dissatisfied because it doesn't hit all the marks, right? And that's okay. Maybe there are no answers entirely right now, but romanticize your life. I don't know, take yourself out on a little date and think about this, right? However you can use your imagination, right, to help you out with this, do it. All right, moving on from Scorpio risings. Oh, are you getting money for so Scorpio rising, are you getting money from mom right now? That'd be amazing, right? Cool. All right. Moving on to Sagittarius rising. All right, you have Mars going through your 8th house. That's the oh shit house, but Mars is stronger here, so that's good. So Sagittarius rising, you like to roughhouse. You like to be philosophical. You have great philosophies. You're part horse, natally, or part horse, part beast, part man. I need a way to express my part beast, part human self, right? So das is popping for you. So Mars going through your 8th house. So this one's harder to reach because it's the 8th house of deep, dark, right? So definitely listen to music. Definitely listen to emo music if you can, if you are in the mood for it. Definitely be fighting, right? Definitely be roughhousing with people in a playful way. You are thinking about money that came from your taxes, frustration with taxes, possibly, right? Because it's money that you didn't earn. It's money that you did earn, but it's coming through another source like taxes, right? You earned that money and then it gives it back to you, but it takes away for the greater good, the greater collective, for whoever it is that you live with or merged with. So you're reflecting on what is the pattern with your money spending? What is the pattern with you not getting what you want because you have to wait for other people's money to come in? You're frustrated with maybe sexual frustrations could be a thing here. What's the pattern of my sexual frustrations here? Because 8th house is kind of has a sexy vibe, has a taboo tone. You might be struggling to download porn, whatever is popping in my mind. But yeah, the 8th house has to do with other people who you live with, who you're with, their finances. It has to do with the taboo. It has to do with long-term investments. So frustrated with long-term investments not coming to fruition. That's a frustration that's happening. I feel like you have to take action on your investments, right? It could be another thing that's happening. And so you're reflecting and you're looking on those topics, those things, and your frustrations and your dissatisfaction, and thinking about, well, maybe where do I not act enough on? Where do I act too much on? My home life, right? How do my finances affect others, right? Is another thing. But it feels like it's not enough. There's a dissatisfaction with money, with being able to buy things that you want to buy, right? Do things that you want to do. Maybe dissatisfaction with marriage partner. That's another thing that that this can give if you are a married Sagittarius rising, dissatisfaction with a marriage partner. Maybe some of you are going through a really tough time of a divorce, right? And trying to think about, deal with that action. It's a rough one. Or yeah, who do you need to sever ties with in order to have a better future? When you look back, is it salvageable, right? When you look back on your past, your history with your merged partner here, what is the pattern, right? There's a pattern that you engage in that allows for that to happen, or there's a pattern you're engaging in that is keeping you from having a marriage partner. That's like another thing. This was not an easy one to deal with. That's the truth. Or possibly you're feeling pressure to be with someone, merge your finances with someone. Somebody else is giving pressure for you to do that. So yeah, again, with this one, philosophically, if you can find quotes, if you can listen to teachers or philosophical people, maybe they'll inspire you and light your fire a little bit, inspire you in romance, in your investments, right? In your creativity, right? Because creativity is the thing that's happening, and getting yourself out there. So yeah, creativity, that's the thing that's happening, right? So you're reflecting on maybe the ways in which you hide. All right. So moving on to, it's another tough one to talk. The water houses are always tough to talk about because it's like, describe water. It's wet, it's connected, yeah. Gives life, you're born in it, right? All right, moving on to Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising. All right, frustrated with others, right? Seventh house has to do with this is, so eighth house is more like your marriage, your merge, your finances are one thing, right? Seventh house is who you have continuous face-to-face interactions with. It is other, right? So you're having light shown on your body within your AC, right? So there's full light going on yourself and others. So maybe you're really seeing how others react to you. And maybe you're frustrated with how you don't know how to nurture that or foster a relationship with somebody else. There's a strong frustration with nurturing a relationship with somebody else. Maybe nurturing a relationship with mom. That's a hard one. You might be getting frustrated if you live with your mom, right? Frustrated with mom for certain. Having to ask mom to take action, right away, immediately. And then there's frustration from your mom, but yeah, this is on your body and then on how you feel others see your body. So maybe frustrations with that. Frustrations with starting relationships, right? Starting partnerships, or frustrations with the ones that you have and they're not going the way you want them to go. And there's a frustration here. So there's a severing happening here. You are definitely severing ties or reflecting on how you should sever ties with people who you have regular interactions with every day, face to face. I guess that could be online too if you're listening to them and you're talking to them like in your camera or something like that. It's not just friends, it's not just people in general. It is people that you have a connection to on the reg, if you will. So you feel, where's your responsibility, right? Because a Capricorn can't help but be responsible, can't help but grind, can't help, right? So frustrations with how you physically have to grind, and frustrations maybe with how the other doesn't seem to be grinding as you are, or not giving the same care as you're giving, right? So that could be like a thing that's popping for you. But you're getting frustrations on your body because you're being asked to be your own person in a way, right? It's a Saturn ruled sign, and Saturn's with Venus, so that's good. You have like nice thoughts, but it's a Saturn rule sign, and Saturn wants to be alone. It's the sign of solitary. And when you're being responsible, you can't go out and party with people because you're trying to be responsible, right? That's what it does. So what have you been frustrated about with the way that money is coming in from other people, right? How can you grind to have a better home life, a better provided home life, right? It's kind of like a thing too. Home projects, right? That because you identify with your home, right? There's an identity here. Sorry. So that's something that like is popping right now for you. All right. So what you can do is, what am I responsible for? And how can I not be so reliant on other, right? How can I be more independent? Because I'm frustrated with others, right? So that's like something that you might be experiencing. And we're like almost there. What did I started with Aries? So I've got like two more. We got Aquarius and then Pisces. So Aquarius rising. What do we have for you, Aquarius? Aquarius rising. You are definitely struggling. You're struggling with your day-to-day work environment, day-to-day work life. You are trying to think about ways in which you can sever your dissatisfaction with the way your day-to-day life is going, and specifically your work environment. You are thinking about your day-to-day health, right? Because it's the sixth house of health. You are thinking about how people you work with are dissatisfied with you, or there's like maybe a fear with that, right? Because Saturn also has to do with fears. So fears about that. Mars going through your sixth house is trying to ask you to, where do you need to sever ties so you can nurture yourself better? So that when you are nurturing the people in your work environment, they are giving the same care back to you. Or if you feel like they're nurturing you and you feel like you're not nurturing enough, then maybe you need to figure out how to sever ties to do something better so that you love swimming in the waters of your day-to-day work environment, work routines, work life. If you have a Cancer in the sixth house, you have to care. You have to care. It has to be like family to you in some way. If it feels like family to you, then that's good. But you might also be frustrated with them because they are asking you to take action, or you wish they would take more action, right? Because Mars is about action. So there's a frustration here with every day. And then you're reflecting on all the work environments that you've had, all the ways in which you have worked to serve your work environment, your work routines. So you're reflecting on those things every day and your dissatisfaction with that. And so you're trying to figure out how to make that better. You're being pushed to, what do you care about? What would you fight for every day? You have to care to fight about it every day, right? You have to feel like you want your home, the world you live in, the environment you live in, your home environment, you want it to be a sanctuary to you. You want your everyday routines to be a sanctuary. And feel connected. That's what you want. That's what you need. And so that's kind of what you're experiencing right now. So what to do, again, if you died today, what do you wish your work environment would have been like? What do you wish you would have done differently or taken more action on? And yeah, so hopefully that will help you to connect so that you can and use your intellect, right? Aquarius, you can use your intellect. You can look at it from a perspective, a higher perspective, right? So again, do that trick where you're with your friend and they're helping you to give perspective, so it's less personal. Water signs take things a little more personally because of the connection, because water, you can't sever water. Water is hard to sever. That's just what's up. So can you connect with your most high self? What would that look like every day? If you could nurture that, take the time to nurture yourself, so that you can make decisions that propel you forward. That makes sense. And last but not least, Pisces rising. Well, you're not having the worst time, Pisces rising. You are having the worst time in your romantic life and in your creative life. Or with your children. You might be having a hard time there. You've got, though, the benefit of Venus here, Venus and Saturn. So feeling pretty in your old age. Feeling pretty. Feeling attractive, you know, in your older, feeling like so Pisces already has its eye on transcendence. It already has its eye on caring and coming through for people and being a hero, right? A local hero, right? Your body's been feeling restricted lately, so like feeling older, or maybe something went wrong and you have to be at home more. You're more having to you want to take action on attraction, but you're being asked to reserve it, right? Because Saturn goes whoa, 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 right? That's like what it do. So you have Mars going through your 5th house of children, of creativity, of leadership, of romance, flirting, playful flirting, right? Mars is going through here and is asking you to reflect on the ways in which your flirting or romantic life hasn't been working. If you're a parent, you're being asked to reflect on the ways in which you interact with your family aren't working. Your children aren't working. What is the issue? What can you change? How come they don't give me the same care I give to them? Right? That's that Cancer vibe. Cancer rising. So yeah. So frustrations around leadership. You know, 5th house is leadership, right? It's got that Leo overlay. Frustrations with how you're leading, or you are leading and no one's taking it up. No one's doing the thing. No one's giving you the care back that you're giving out, right? Like that's a frustration right now for you, Pisces rising. And it's okay, right? Again, all these frustrations, they're okay. They're just reflection. These things happen so that you can push through and connect with, well, what is my best self? What is my most high self saying? What ways in which have I been putting out care, putting out this stuff, and I haven't been getting it back? Or right, those are like the things. And you can't always change other people, right? But you can change yourself. So what is it that you are doing that allows for people to feel like they don't have to care back for you, right? Or frustrations around dating. It's a reflection time. Water is reflective, right? Pisces is the ocean, so you don't really see your face. You can't see your face in the ocean's water, because it's waves, it's light refractors, right? So you don't see yourself. You see yourself though as a teacher, right? Scorpio here, you see yourself as a deep person. You may not share it because Scorpio only shows the tip of the iceberg. It doesn't show all of its depth, all of its wisdom. It doesn't show, it has a hard time showing where it will feel satisfied, right? Scorpio, because it doesn't want you to know unless it feels like it can, that it will get something for itself for you to know this information. So Mars going through here is asking you to reflect on the actions that you have taken that prevent you from having long-term relationships, long-term marital relationships, partnerships, right? Libra in the 8th house means that you want to share with somebody else your things that you get from other people, right? Inheritances, money, wealth, things like that, right? You do want it. So you're reflecting on what prevents you from doing that. What prevents you? What are you doing that makes it so that other people are adverse to leadership, right? Your leadership, right? Cancer is moody. It's ruled by the moon. So if you have this, you are your mood shifts and changes. So just because you're romantic with somebody one day and it's going really well, as the moon shifts and changes really, really quickly every day, then your mood is changing every day, right? So how can you have a romantic connection to yourself? How can you have a romantic connection to the sun, your source, right? How can you have a romantic connection with your best self so that way you can be sustained when the mood shifts, right? Because you have something else to aim for, go for. I mean, my best guess. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing now. It's okay to be moody right now. Mars in Cancer. Why don't you cry about it? Right? It could even be hard to cry, but please cry nonetheless. Maybe you need to do some tears, watch a movie, listen to some music, let it make you cry. All right. So I hope you find this helpful. Next steps for you. If you've watched this and you're like, oh my gosh, Lacey, this was the most amazing thing I've ever seen ever. I want to join you, or I want to take notes from you. I want you to let me teach you. I can teach you this shit. Astrology coaching. You're going to go to Team Aquarius. Oh, let's share the screen once again. Sponsored by Lacey, Team Aquarius. So I'm going to share my screen again here. But I'm going to do it here. And what we're going to do is, hey, this is how you it says screen sharing paused. No. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. No, it won't let me. So I guess it's not meant to be. But if you go to teamaquarius.com, scroll down, astrology coaching, there's the see my packages. Click on that, but it will take you to my, normally I charge $200 per month for my 6-month program. Right now I'm only charging $150. So that's kind of a deal. I've got 8 spots open right now, 8 spots. So take it. It's my January offering. I'm going to go back to 200 after January. So hit me up now, hit this up now. There's a link to my website, that Mary made, she's beautiful. And click on that and do some coaching with me. Let me coach you through this stuff. Let me help you achieve transcendence, to achieve your highest self, to achieve that best self, right? Let me help you with that. Okay, I will talk to y'all later. All right, bye.